All right, so we're going to go over our heat exchange major. That way we can see the mistakes that we made and understand why we made those mistakes and answer any misconceptions that people might have about the test that we took. Question number 1, what best describes how heat is transferred due to convection? When I'm talking about convection, what are two things that pop into my mind, Annalie? Gas and liquid. So, through direct contact, what are we talking about with A? It is not A, that's the wrong answer. Conduction is direct contact. Literally the two words that she said, right? Gas and liquid. I really like B. Through absorption of the sun's energy, that would be radiation, so it's not C. Through the process of a liquid changing to a gas, that is called liquid to gas, is evaporation, so it's not this. Again, the best answer is B. I don't think you should have missed number 1. What causes the movement of boiling water in a pot on the stove? What is one word I can absolutely get rid of because it makes no sense? It's something we studied back with like matter. Sadie. Dry ice. Sublimation is not the answer. Now, what's another thing that doesn't cause the water to move while it's on the stove, Brandon? That one could be a maybe though, right? It's a maybe. What's the other one that's definitely not the answer? It's definitely not radiation. So now we're down to 2 answers. Moving water, heat moving through water. The best answer is A. If you answered evaporation, I kind of understand that. But again, your best answer is A. And again, this whole test was about conduction, convection, and radiation. So I have this heat from a lamp that allows the lizard to remain warm. What is that lamp acting as? It's kind of in place of what, Maddox? Kind of like the sun. So if that's the case, is this radiation, conduction, or convection? It's radiation because, number 1, it's not touching, and it's not moving hot liquids or gas onto the lizard. It is heat waves. If you get your hand close enough to a hot lamp, you will feel the heat coming off of it. Sandra washed her hair. She dried it with warm air from a blow dryer before going to school. What statement, again, best explains why the blow dryer was able to dry her hair quickly? Is it because the blow dryer used electricity? No. Is it because the blow dryer transferred heat? Kind of like that. The blow dryer created sound waves. Did it? Yeah, but that's not the answer. The blow dryer used mechanical energy. Sure, there's some mechanisms in there, but no. The answer is B. I don't even think, again, have I gone over one yet that we should have missed? I don't think so. I don't think there's been one yet that I'm thinking, all right, I'll give you some credit on that one. First one I'll give you credit on. Tons of people miss this. Not a hard question, but a tougher question. This illustration shows how heat can move through the atmosphere. When I see this circulation of air, there is a picture that we have drawn that I could have drawn on the side of my paper. What would that picture have looked like, Jesse? A convection cell. A convection cell has hot air going up. Convection cell has cold air coming down or hot water going up. Have we seen that in class with an experiment? Yes. Okay, so let's see here. What causes the circulation of air? Air in the atmosphere is heated by the sun and sinks to the ground. Does heated air sink to the ground? No. The ground is heated by the sun. That heats the air, causing the air to rise. We talked about that with what happens during the day. It'll definitely be in weather. Sea breeze and land breeze. Air loses heat to the ground. The sun heats the clouds, which forces cooler air to move away and sink. If you answered that, I get cool. If you talk about this, I understand it, but that's not the answer. The sun, that's not what's going on. It's B. The ground is heated. That heats the air up above it, which causes the hot air to rise. If you missed number 5, you are in the company of tons of other children that missed number 5. An engineer can choose from 4 different materials to make a heat-resistant handle. What does that mean when I say heat-resistant, Fabiana? It doesn't absorb heat. for a spoon. What material is he, again, this is where it gets tricky, least likely? Which material is least likely to get hot when the spoon is placed in boiling water? All right, we know that metals are good conductors of heat. That will most definitely get hot. If I pour coffee into a glass, is that going to go very well for my hand? No, so it can't be glass. It's down to wood and ceramic. Now, a lot of people kept asking, what's ceramic? Ceramic is like what coffee mugs are made out of. How many of your moms, we talked about this in class, how many of your moms wrap their little hands around the coffee mug to get their hands warm in the morning? And the hands are going up. Who remembers me talking about that in class? And the same hands are staying up. Not this. And the answer is B, wood. Let's see if I can get the air to move here. People, oh boy, sitting around a campfire are able to feel the heat. I mean, it's not like I told you this would be the example. The heat from the fire travels through the ground. The heat from the fire is conducted. The heat from the fire rises in the air and settles around. That's saying hot air sinks. No. The heat from the fire radiates. Oh boy. Should anyone have missed that one? No. Again, as of right now, we probably should have missed one. Yes. Oh, I mean, it was probably on the study packet and the quiz is. I mean, who remembers like the 3 slides in Nearpod that talked about railroad tracks? What happens to metal railroad tracks during the heat of the day? What happens to things when they get hot? Glenn? They expand. So does expand mean decrease in weight? Increase in weight? No, because it's the same track. Decrease in length? It's increase in length. That's why they have those gaps so that they can stretch without buckling. Like we specifically covered that question in the notes. I feel like, I don't know if I wrote this on the anchor chart. I may not have had this on there, but I know we covered this. Most responsible for the uneven heating of the air in the atmosphere. Well, it's certainly not cloud formation. When I talk about air, I'm talking convection. Not heat waves, not touching, and certainly not cloud formation. Again, how many have I covered so far that we are honestly thinking we should have maybe missed? 1. The rest of these are not very difficult. Number 12, rays from the sun are shining down on a house. That happens literally every day. What effect does the sun have on the temperature of the house? The temperature of the house increases. Would you agree with that when the sun's shining on the house? So can I get rid of these two? Did I skip something? Oh, my bad. Let me go back to 10, 11. I apologize. Oh, wow, it's not like we talked about this either. That's literally on the anchor chart. On hot days, animals will find a patch of dirt to lay in to keep cool. How does this happen? Dawson. Does the coolness of the ground transfer to the animal's body? That is not how heat transfers. Dirt on the ground protects the animal from heat in the air. The animal's body temperature does not change. It literally says they do it to keep cool. Like, that makes no sense. Heat from the animal's body is transferred to the ground, lowering the animal's body temperature. And that's like right there on the anchor chart. I know that the people watching this video can't see me pointing at the anchor chart. I'm pointing at the anchor chart that we took in class. Oh, sorry. My bad. Apologies. So mad that people missed that one. What is an example of heat being transferred by conduction? If I see the word conduction, what am I looking for, Gunnar? There should be some touching going on. A furnace heating the air. No, I'm talking to Gunnar. An ice cube melting in a person's hand. Raise your hand if you put that as an example on your project. Ooh, boy, I sure hope none of you that put it on your project also missed that one. Pot of water boiling is convection. Sun heating the swimming pool is convection or radiation. All right, now we're back to the sun heating the house. Apologies for skipping 2. We know that the sun does not decrease the house's temperature. That doesn't make sense. If you've ever been outside in a car on the summer day, you know that the temperature certainly does not decrease. Does it increase because heat radiates from the sun, or does it increase because heat is conducted by the sun, Collins? Is the heat conducted or radiated by the sun? Heat is radiated. The sun and fire, radiation, like our two big examples. There are no other examples of that. A man is heating up his dinner over a campfire. When I first read this, I thought they were going to say convection, but they switched it up on me. Why is the man wearing gloves? Ophelia, why is he wearing gloves? Is it metal conducts heat so the man could burn his hand? That's a good answer. Does metal radiate heat? I guess technically it could. You could feel the heat coming off a pan, but that's really not a good answer. Metal is helping light energy pass to the man's hand. I certainly hope no one answered C. Metal is helping chemical energy. You better not have answered D, because neither one of those make any sense. The answer is A. It's not radiation, because that's the sun and fire. A cop, what you need? Again, radiation. Is that boiling water? What is that? That's convection. Steam rising from a boiling pot. Still convection. The sun shining through a window. I mean, come on, kids. Again, we're on question 14. We're almost halfway through this test, and people are looking at me going, you should have missed about one at this point. Can you make a mistake and miss some of those other ones? Of course, that happens. But are you noticing how these really weren't that difficult of questions? Jill notices her skin gets burned when she sits out in the sun. What best explains that? The soil is convecting heat into the air. No. The heat from the sun is being conducted to the earth. No. The heat from the sun is radiating. Yes. Joe's cooking dinner on the stove. When he picks up the pan by the handle, he burns his hand. What form of heat transfer caused Joe to burn his hand? Hunter. Radiation, conduction, or convection if you pick up a pan and burn your hand? Conduction, it's touching. Remember those easy questions I talk about that you can't miss? That's one of them. It's very sunny outside. Mike wants to wear a shirt that would keep him cool. What color shirt is best for him to wear? Landon. A white shirt. We know that darker colors absorb heat. We talked about that in class. What's an example of convection? Nolan, is that heat coming from a campfire? Not beside it. Maybe over it, but not beside. So let's keep it on there. Maybe. A spoon in a bowl of soup becoming warmer. That's conduction. Warmer water at the surface of a swimming pool. Again, we're talking liquids and gases. That's your best answer. If you answered A, they're considering that radiation. They didn't say over the campfire. What best describes the process of conduction? Cameron. When two objects touch, I like that so far, the heat is transferred to the air. Is that conduction? When two objects touch, heat is transferred to the air. No. When two objects touch, the heat from the hotter object is transferred to the cooler object. That's exactly the definition of conduction and how heat moves. When two objects touch, the cool air from the cooler object is transferred to the hotter object. Makes absolutely no sense. Number 20. This video is about to end, so smash the like button and subscribe because you're only going to get the first part of this. What part of the diagram shows conduction? Fabiana. A, B, or C? Conduction, touching. It's A. Like, that was a picture that was in like every slide, wasn't it? Covered that. What best explains why pot handles are made of plastic? Plastic conducts heat and stays cool. No. Plastic does not conduct heat and stays cool. Plastic does not radiate heat and warms up.